Bakhmut, January 2023, 3:47 in the morning. Temperature -8 Celsius. Total darkness. A thermal camera locks onto heat signatures in a trench. 8 men, Wagner group assault team. They don't know they're being watched. In 40 seconds, 7 of them will be dead. This is Millfront, where we analyze the battles that rewrite the rulebook of war. FPV drone, first-person view, 1 kilogram of explosives. Operator sitting 8 kilometers from target. Speed 120 kilometers per hour. Thermal guidance, 1 flight, 1 target. 0 margin for error. Winter 2022 to 2023 became the turning point for drone tactics in Ukraine. If summer belonged to TB2 Bayraktar dominating daylight operations, autumn brought a new predator to the battlefield. Small quadcopters with first-person cameras. Cheap, lethal, unstoppable. Bakhmut transformed into a testing ground for 21st century warfare, a city where every street marked the front line, where World War I-style attrition warfare collided head-on with modern technology, and technology won decisively. Ukrainian FPV operators developed what they called night hunting tactics. The concept was elegantly simple. Wagner forces assault during daylight hours, then consolidate captured positions at night. Night makes them most vulnerable. Exhausted soldiers, clustered together for warmth in freezing temperatures. Perfect targets for thermal-guided drones. One FPV drone costs between $400 and $800. Chinese components, civilian electronics, homemade explosives. One Wagner mercenary costs approximately $2,000 in daily salary, plus equipment and training. The brutal mathematics of death favored the drones every single time. Which weapon proved deadliest in Bakhmut? A. Artillery, B. FPV drones, or C. Sniper rifles? Drop your answer in the comments. The key tactical innovation from Ukrainian operators was mounting thermal cameras on FPV drones. Standard cameras become completely useless after dark, but thermal imaging sees heat signatures through total darkness. A human body glows like a beacon on thermal screens. Vehicles burn like bonfires. There's nowhere to hide from physics. Operators worked in pairs. One piloted the drone. The second analyzed thermal imagery and selected targets. They communicated through encrypted channels to avoid interception. Drones launched from positions 5 to 10 kilometers behind friendly lines. Flight time to target, anywhere from 3 to 7 minutes depending on distance and wind conditions. Wagner attempted multiple countermeasures. They deployed electronic warfare jammers. They issued thermal-resistant camouflage nets. They assigned designated shooters with specialized anti-drone rifles. Nothing worked effectively enough to matter. The core problem was scale. Ukrainian operators launched 40 to 60 drones per night on the Bakhmut sector alone. Electronic jammers worked within a 200 to 300 meter radius. Drones simply bypassed jamming zones and attacked from alternate vectors. The mathematical advantage belonged to the attackers. Camouflage nets? Completely useless against thermal imaging that detects body heat radiating through fabric and plastic materials. Anti-drone rifles? Try hitting a quadcopter traveling 120 kilometers per hour in complete darkness. You hear the characteristic buzzing sound, maybe 3 seconds before impact. That's not enough time to locate, acquire, aim, and fire accurately. Most soldiers were dead before they could shoulder their weapons. Stay with me, because what unfolds in the next 18 minutes of this Bakhmut night assault will permanently change how modern warfare is understood by military planners worldwide. Here's how a typical night operation proceeded according to intercepted communications and survivor testimony. 22:00 hours. Wagner forces occupy positions captured during daylight fighting. They dig in as best they can in frozen ground, establish defensive perimeter, set up whatever protection they can manage. 23:30 hours. Ukrainian operators receive coordinates from ground reconnaissance teams. They begin preparing drones for launch, pre-flight checks, battery levels, camera systems, warhead. 00:15 hours. First wave of FPV drones goes airborne. 8 to 12 units launching simultaneously from different positions. 00:30 to 03 hours. The hunt begins. Drones patrol enemy positions systematically. Operators search for thermal signatures. They engage any concentrations of personnel they identify. The killing happens in silence, except for those final 3 seconds of buzzing. 030 to 050 hours. Second wave launches. This phase focuses on finishing wounded trying to evacuate and attacking any rescue teams attempting recovery operations. 0530 hours. Dawn breaks. Night operations conclude. The drones return to base or crash in no man's land if batteries run too low. How effective was this? According to Ukrainian General Staff reports between December 2022 and March 2023, FPV drones eliminated approximately 800 to 1,200 Wagner personnel in the Bakhmut area alone. And these represent conservative estimates based on confirmed kills. OSINT analysts independently documented over 2,000 verified videos showing drone eliminations during this same period. Each video confirmed at minimum 1 casualty. Frequently, the footage showed 2 to 4 men sharing a single trench position, all eliminated in one strike. How many Wagner fighters did FPV drones eliminate during winter in Bakhmut? Was it A, 400 to 600, B, 800 to 1,200, or C, 1,500 to 2,000? I'll give you the answer at the end of this breakdown. Let's analyze the tactical advantages of FPV drones compared to traditional methods of engaging enemy infantry at night. Artillery requires precise coordinates transmitted from observers. It expends 10 to 20 shells per target on average. The enemy hears the firing and has 30 to 60 seconds to take cover before impact. FPV drones provide real-time visual guidance. One warhead equals one target with 80% hit rates. The enemy doesn't hear anything until the final second before detonation. Snipers operate effectively only during daylight hours. Their effective range tops out at 800 to 1,200 meters. One shot equals one target maximum. They require excellent positioning and can be compromised easily. FPV drones operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their range extends 8 to 10 kilometers. The operator remains in complete safety kilometers behind friendly lines. Mortars provide area saturation but suffer from low precision. They require high ammunition expenditure to achieve effects. FPV drones deliver precision targeting with 80% or better hit rates and minimal ammunition waste. One drone, one target, one kill. But the raw tactical advantages don't fully capture the story. The psychological impact of FPV drones on Wagner forces proved absolutely catastrophic to unit cohesion and combat effectiveness. Imagine this scenario from the perspective of a Wagner fighter. You're sitting in a trench, it's night. Temperature is -10 Celsius. You cannot sleep because a drone might arrive any moment. You cannot light a fire for warmth because thermal cameras will detect it immediately, and you become a priority target. You cannot group together with other soldiers for body heat because clustered signatures attract drones first. You hear buzzing, a quadcopter motor. But from where? Left? Right? Behind you? Above? You have maybe 2 to 3 seconds maximum to react. You start running. But which direction is safe? The drone is faster than you. It can hit 120 kilometers per hour in a dive. You drop prone hoping to present a smaller target. The drone adjusts its trajectory mid-flight. Then detonation. Everything goes dark. Recovered mobile phones from eliminated Wagner personnel revealed the psychological stress levels. Messages sent home before death said things like, "These fucking drones don't let us sleep." Every single night, someone in our unit dies. I don't know if I'll see morning light again. These weren't complaints. These were accurate threat assessments. Wagner Group Command attempted systematic adaptation. January 2023 brought orders to disperse formations, maximum 2 men per fighting position, instead of squad-sized elements. February brought prohibition on mobile phone use at night, because phone screens glow like searchlights on thermal imaging. March brought accelerated vacations, every 3 days instead of weekly, because soldiers broke psychologically faster than they broke physically. Nothing worked well enough to stop the killing. The technological race accelerated on both sides. Russian forces deployed sophisticated electronic warfare systems, including Borisogledsk and Krasika complexes. These powerful jammers disrupted GPS signals and standard drone control frequencies across wide areas. Ukrainian operators adapted within weeks. They switched to autonomous thermal guidance systems with multiple backup frequencies. If radio connection dropped during flight, drones continued to terminal phase, using stored thermal profiles. The artificial intelligence remembered what human heat signatures looked like and hunted independently for the final 30 seconds of flight. Better tactic, artillery precision, or drone surveillance? Comment A for artillery or D for drones. Let me walk you through February 14, 2023 as a detailed case study in FPV effectiveness. This engagement demonstrates everything that made night hunting so devastatingly effective. Wagner forces captured 2 fortified buildings in northwestern Bakhmut during a costly afternoon assault. Approximately 40 to 50 fighters consolidated defensive positions inside. Ukrainian artillery pounded the area, but Wagner had excellent cover inside Soviet-era reinforced concrete structures. Shells couldn't reach them effectively. Night fell. Ukrainian drone operators received real-time thermal imagery from reconnaissance drones orbiting at altitude. 2 buildings, multiple distinct heat signatures, dozens of targets, high-value concentration of enemy forces. This is what they trained for. 23:47 hours. First FPV drone launched. This one carried 1.2 kilograms of high explosives. The operator identified 8 men in a ground floor room through thermal camera feed. Body heat showed clearly through the walls. The operator guided the warhead through an open window. Detonation inside enclosed space. Thermal camera showed 5 immediate casualties, 3 wounded attempting to crawl toward stairs. 0.12 hours. Second drone targeted the stairwell, where reinforcements were moving upward to replace casualties. Detonation in the confined stairwell space caused catastrophic casualties from blast overpressure. Thermal showed bodies tumbling backward down the stairs. 0034 hours. Third drone, upper floor, direct hit on what appeared to be the command element. Thermal signatures showed 3 men clustered around communications equipment. All 3 signatures disappeared instantly after detonation. Command and control eliminated. 01:15 hours. 4th through 7th drones. Systematic clearing of both buildings room by room. Each explosion appeared on thermal feed as a bright white flash, followed by rapidly dissipating heat signatures as bodies cooled. The operators worked methodically. No rush, no wasted drones, professional execution. By 02:30 hours, both buildings showed exactly 0 movement on thermal scans. No heat signatures moving, no defensive fire, complete silence. Estimated Wagner casualties for the engagement: 38 to 42 killed, unknown number wounded, who managed to retreat during lulls between attacks. Let's do the mathematics of this engagement. Ukrainian ammunition expenditure: 7 FPV drones at approximately $600 each. Total operational cost: $4,200. Wagner personnel losses: approximately 40 trained fighters at $2,000 daily rate plus equipment, weapons, body armor, and years of tactical training and combat experience, irreplaceable in any immediate time frame. The asymmetry is stark. This is Millfront. Real tactics, real consequences, real evolution of warfare happening in real time. The tactical doctrine developed by Ukrainian FPV operators became a template now being studied by military organizations worldwide. This thermal hunting methodology combined several key innovations into one devastating system. First, persistent surveillance. Reconnaissance drones maintained constant thermal overwatch of enemy positions, continuously identifying targets and updating target packages for strike drones. Second, swarm tactics. Multiple drones launched simultaneously from different positions, overwhelming point defenses and saturating electronic warfare systems that couldn't jam every frequency at once. Third, psychological operations. Regular nightly attacks prevented enemy rest, systematically degraded combat effectiveness before any ground assaults, and destroyed unit morale over time. Fourth, extreme cost effectiveness. Drone production cost mere hundreds of dollars compared to thousands per artillery shell, and achieved similar or superior results per dollar spent. Wagner Group total casualties in Bakhmut reached approximately 20,000 to 30,000 killed and wounded between August 2022 and May 2023, according to various intelligence estimates and leaked Russian documents. FPV drones accounted for conservatively 5 to 8% of these total casualties, concentrated during winter months when thermal hunting proved most effective. But raw casualty numbers don't tell the complete tactical story here. The psychological toll measured far higher than body counts suggest. Survivors reported constant fear, complete inability to rest properly, deteriorating unit cohesion, and collapsing morale. Some units refused night positions entirely after experiencing drone attacks. Others demanded immediate rotation after a single night under sustained drone pressure. If you believe tactics win wars more than numbers, type Millfront in the comments right now. The Wagner command structure attempted several additional countermeasures beyond electronic warfare as the winter progressed and casualties mounted. They tried deploying decoy heat sources, burning materials positioned away from actual fighting positions to create false thermal signatures. Ukrainian operators adapted within days by analyzing movement patterns. Real soldiers move and react. Fires just burn in place, easy to distinguish. They issued thermal blankets, special materials designed to mask body heat from thermal cameras. These worked when soldiers remained completely stationary, but proved useless during any movement or combat operations. You can't fight a war wrapped in a thermal blanket like a burrito. They ordered rapid dispersal protocols. Scatter immediately upon hearing any drone sounds. This proved partially effective but drastically reduced combat effectiveness and unit cohesion. A dispersed force cannot hold territory or conduct coordinated operations. It just survives. They attempted counter-drone operations, using their own drones to shoot down Ukrainian FPV units mid-flight. This achieved extremely limited success. Finding a small, fast-moving drone at night proved nearly impossible, even with thermal cameras. It's like trying to shoot a flying mosquito in a dark room. The technological evolution continued accelerating throughout spring 2023. Ukrainian operators began mounting shaped charge warheads specifically designed for anti-vehicle work. FPV drones started targeting not just infantry, but also light armored vehicles, ammunition storage points, and supply trucks caught stationary at night. March 2023 saw the first confirmed FPV drone kill of a Russian armored vehicle. A BTR-82A armored personnel carrier caught stationary during a night resupply operation. The shaped charge warhead penetrated top armor where it's thinnest. 7 crew casualties. The vehicle burned for 40 minutes on thermal cameras. By April 2023, Wagner forces began systematic withdrawal from Bakhmut positions. Multiple operational factors contributed to this decision: artillery attrition, critical ammunition shortages, exhausted personnel, unsustainable casualty rates. But survivors consistently reported drone attacks as the primary psychological factor in requesting immediate rotation out of the sector. The evolution of FPV warfare didn't stop at Bakhmut city limits. These tactics spread rapidly across the entire 1,000-kilometer front line. By summer 2023, both Ukrainian and Russian forces operated thousands of FPV drones daily. The skies over Ukraine became the single deadliest airspace on Earth for infantry forces. Not from fighter jets, not from attack helicopters, not from strategic bombers, from $500 quadcopters equipped with GoPro cameras and homemade explosives. What would NATO doctrine recommend against FPV drone swarms operating at this scale and intensity? Drop your tactical analysis in the comments. The lessons from Bakhmut's night hunters fundamentally reshaped modern infantry doctrine for military organizations globally. Military academies from Fort Benning to Sandhurst now include Ukrainian FPV tactics in their curriculum. The Canadian Armed Forces created dedicated counter-drone training programs for infantry battalions. The United States Marine Corps is testing FPV integration directly into rifle company operations. Why this level of institutional interest? Because Bakhmut proved a fundamental truth about modern warfare that cannot be ignored. The military force that controls the night controls the battlefield, and controlling the night no longer requires issuing expensive night vision equipment or thermal scopes to every single infantry soldier. It requires $400 drones and properly trained operators working from safety. The mathematics of asymmetric warfare shifted permanently in those frozen Bakhmut streets. One trained FPV operator, positioned safely 8 kilometers behind friendly lines, could eliminate 5 to 10 enemy soldiers per night consistently. That operator faced zero personal physical risk, required minimal logistical support, could operate independently or as part of larger drone networks. Compare this to traditional infantry assault operations. You need 30 to 40 soldiers minimum for a night assault. They face direct combat risk, including death and dismemberment. They require extensive logistics support, including ammunition, food, water, medical evacuation capability, and they risk significant friendly casualties even in successful operations. The future of infantry warfare became crystal clear in Bakhmut's frozen streets and ruined buildings. Small, dispersed, technologically enabled units. Constant drone coverage replacing constant human presence. Psychological warfare through persistent existential threat. Economic efficiency through precision engagement rather than mass firepower. Wagner Group's entire Bakhmut campaign cost an estimated $1 to $2 billion in total expenditure, including salaries, equipment, ammunition, and logistics. Ukrainian FPV drone operations for the same period cost approximately $20 to $30 million total. The return on investment speaks for itself with brutal clarity.
Here's the answer to our earlier question. B is correct. 800 to 1,200 Wagner fighters were eliminated by FPV drones during Bakhmut winter operations from 2022 to 2023, according to Ukrainian General Staff estimates and independent OSINT verification. This represents approximately 4 to 6% of total Wagner casualties in the Bakhmut operation. But the psychological impact measured far higher than raw numbers ever could capture. Fear is a force multiplier that works for the side that controls it.
3 questions for your own tactical analysis. Think about these seriously. First, was Wagner's decision to mass forces in Bakhmut operationally sound given Ukrainian drone capabilities that were clearly observable by January 2023? Second, could Russian electronic warfare have prevented FPV effectiveness with better coordination between EW units and ground forces, or was the fundamental problem unsolvable? Third, what would you have done differently as a Wagner tactical commander facing nightly drone attacks that you couldn't stop or effectively counter? Subscribe to Millfront, because we break down the battle. The frozen streets of Bakhmut run quiet now in some sectors. The fighting shifted to other parts of the city and other parts of the front. But the thermal cameras still sweep the darkness every single night. And the drones still hunt. Silent reminders that modern warfare punishes tactical rigidity and inability to adapt without mercy. The hunters evolved. The hunted could not. And evolution in warfare means survival or extinction. Stay vigilant.